So we are all going to Lisbon, the final 8. Where's my ticket? Because I'm getting a plane right now. What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? BugaLuis here. Welcome back to another video here on the channel. And Barcelona beat Napoli by 3-0 thanks to efforts of Clement Lenglet, Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez, a vintage number 10, and a new Barcelona get the job done at the Camp Nou. I just have to say and honestly tell you guys, this was a very good game from Barcelona. And even though in the second half you may be thinking, oh, what happened with that team? Well, do not worry. I'm gonna cut you covered because we're gonna be explaining to you everything that happened in today's game and why did that happen. Why did Quique Setien didn't make substitutions earlier? Doesn't matter, or what you're thinking, I got you covered, so let's just get right started into it. So starting off right away with the pre-match, I have to admit that I was very surprised that there was no Ricky Puig on the starting lineup. I commented how important it was to have a player like him, and honestly, Quique Setien got it right. He got it right by putting Sergio Roberto into that midfield and putting Semedo to the fullback position. It really gave Barcelona a much greater kind of depth to their attack. And Sergio Roberto there with his work rate managed to kind of just cover up the midfield and man mark players like Pieter Zielinski or Fabian Ruiz, whoever kind of fall into his side of the pitch, because he was just superb in this game. His defensive output was incredible, and really, to be honest, we need a player like that to cover up the space that Napoli simply just created. On the side of Napoli, Lorenzo Insigne started this game. Many of you were saying how he was injured, but it was reports that he may have actually gotten fit to start this game, and well, he did. He actually got a goal and was probably the most effective player that Napoli had today on that field. We must be honest and say that from the very first half, Napoli actually surprised Barcelona because they were playing not defensive at all. I said how they were going to play similar to how they did against Juventus or how they did even at their own stadium. But no, Napoli just wanted to go out there and play. They knew that they had to come here and get a goal early, try to kind of make it unnerving for Barcelona, and they didn't manage to do that because Barcelona, like I said, the midfield, we had Frenkie De Jong and Sergio Roberto there. Those two players were really, really key. I talked about also how being in control of that area of the field was going to be crucial for us because our players in Fabian Ruiz and Pieter Zielinski were going to be basically the main outlets for their attack. That's how Napoli managed to push forward. Even though they weren't doing much counter-attacks, they wanted to control the ball as much as possible. And having Frenkie De Jong kind of man-mark Fabian Ruiz, then Sergio Roberto did the same to Zielinski. It made it so a lot of the play was actually going for the wings. And even when it came to the middle, they just hit a kind of block. A block where they couldn't go through. Basically, we played very similar to how Guardiola set up his Manchester City team yesterday from the first few minutes. And that's how kind of we remedied this Napoli side. And that was a good spot from Quique Setien because we actually started differently. We wanted to play the ball from the get-go, and we were surprised that Napoli were actually going to take the game to us. So good shifting for Quique Setien there, and it was a very good understanding. It certainly was something that they had on the plans, and seeing that preparation being done by the manager is something that gives me a lot of confidence going forward. 10 minutes into the game, I gotta say that we were still seeing a slow Barcelona, and Napoli were getting some chances there like we saw with Mertens. But a goal through Lenglet for out of a corner kick and an amazing header, honestly, like bam, clean header onto the back of the net, what gave Barcelona the lead. And I was starstruck. I was very surprised there because Lenglet is one of the names you never put on your predictions. You don't think he's gonna be scoring the goals, but he came here and that was impressive and was really impressive. Something that we must comment on is that the foul that he did on Mertens, pushing him, I'm not too sure if it was a foul or not. Like, the push was actually there, but I believe that Shaqiri didn't call it because he didn't fall whatsoever. Mertens kind of bounced on the Koulibaly. If it went to VAR, I could understand it getting disallowed, but it didn't. And I'm someone who, even though this goal was for Barcelona, I don't tend to dwell on those VAR decisions that much because at the end of the day, that's also part of the football. It comes with uncertainty, and even though it needs fixing and it's kind of pretty shite right now, if the decision is like that, well, you just gotta put your hands like this and say, well, no more. We gotta keep winning because at the end of the day, I believe teams are good enough, or they should be good enough to win a game without any referee intervention. And that's just how I feel. I feel that if you're a good team, you can win no matter what comes your way. I want to keep talking a little bit more about the header here because I believe these sort of situations from set pieces, from corners, or be it kind of free kicks, that is something that Barcelona need to be more on the lookout for, because in a competition like this of really tight kind of engagements where you have 90-minute games thick and fast, those kind of situations, you gotta take advantage of them. Previously, Barcelona never took advantage of the corners, or when it came to a kind of set situation like this, we never really tend to score out of them. And these set pieces are gonna be very important because that's how you get into the ground, into the mud, how you fight, how you win these games of the Champions League. And basically, that is what I want Barcelona to do because, for instance, against Bayern Munich now, who are gonna be our next opponents, Bayern Munich, they're not good, they're gonna be relentless. You know, they're gonna be punching you through, trying to knock you down. And if you get an opportunity of a corner, try and take it. That might be the only opportunity that you get. So Barcelona must be ready for that. We have this nice football. We have this tiki-taka possession style that we all know and love. But at the end of the day, that can win you games, but also you gotta take advantage of the other things. And if we have to create something out of nowhere, these situations are gonna get us far. We need to take advantage of this, and it was so good that we did today in this game. Furthermore, I saw this kind of incentive from Barcelona that really, you see, it's getting me all pumped up because the team was actually working for it. You know, as soon as the ball went out for a goal kick, Ter Stegen was running to get the ball and then he was passing it right from the back. Or for instance, a throw-in, you know, we saw many times where the throw-in went out and Frenkie De Jong was running to it and then he just committed a throw-in. You know, he always wanted to keep the play moving. You want to keep this circulation, this intensity, this momentum. Because if you're like that, you know, you're kind of, I don't know how to say it, you're kind of estrujando, you're kind of pushing to the limit the opposition, and that's how you never let them breathe. You're just making them super fatigued, and that is gonna at the end of the day be in your favor because you want to keep your team on top. You want them to be keeping on the momentum, and that's how you tend to win games. You know, if you keep going like that, full relentlessly being ruthless in every single attack, that is what a team needs to do to succeed in these games like this. And Barcelona did that, and I'm very happy for it. And we should replicate the same thing in the next game. You know, the ball goes out, run towards the ball, try and get it, and just keep the play going fast. Another aspect to this was that we saw around the 50th minute mark, we saw a shot from outside the box from Ivan Rakitic, and we saw some of them as well later on throughout the game. From Rakitic as well was one of the main protagonists in that area of the field, and I like this as well because that is something that Barcelona didn't tend to do often before. You know, when you have this ball and you kind of just want to continue to play, most of the time Barcelona just, you know, passes it back or he tries to find another outlet. But today, the team was kind of instructed, I believe, by Quique Setien to just finish the play as much as you can. And that is good. Why is it good? Well, you may be saying it might lead to a dispossession, it might lead to a counterattack. And yes, but you know what also leads to a counterattack? If you have the ball, you don't do nothing with it, and then it's kind of like a wasted chance. I prefer much rather to have that risk of shooting and see if it goes in, you know? Just try and do that and see if you will be able to put the ball into the back of the net. If it's successful, amazing. If it isn't, well, you just have to track back and do that. If it goes out for a corner, you finish the play. That's the thing, guys. You finish the play, and there's no opportunity then for another kind of player of the opposition to get the ball and then find someone for a long pass. That's what we want to do. We want to finalize those plays. You want to keep into the game. And like I said, once again, all of this contributes to the momentum and why Barcelona were so successful in this game, because the energy, the passion was there. And something, guys, that I mentioned in my preview, and it's actually really important to understand this game today, is that I said that having the ball or relying too much on possession shouldn't be Barcelona's main priority in this game. And that's exactly what happened in the early phases of this match, because at the 30-minute mark, Napoli had 56% of the ball. Barcelona only had then all the remaining, which is what, 34% of the ball, 44% of the ball. I'm bad at math. This was pretty useful for us because it actually made Barcelona open up Napoli even more, as we were allowing Napoli to come into our own half. Whenever we get the ball back and we want it again, we were able to just create a play very directly. You know, it was kind of like 3 passes and we were already in their area. The thing that hurts Barcelona the most, which is very surprising, is that we don't like having teams in a defensive unit because it's very hard for us to break them down nowadays. And if you actually have them more open, we can cut through them very easily. You saw how many times counterattacks through Antoine Griezmann, for instance, or Lionel Messi or Semedo to the right. We were able to push the ball further forward very quickly because through their individual skill, they were able to find the space and then just simply kind of push Napoli over to one side and then find, oh, Luis Suarez is doing a run through behind, you know, just pass it to him, or Lionel Messi the same through the right. That is something that was very useful for us and must continue to do. By inviting the opposition to come into our half, we allow them to be more expanded. And that for Barcelona is very good because there's more space for us to play with. But now on this goal, we have to talk about that exactly, because Semedo overlapped, he found Lionel Messi, and then Lionel Messi did an amazing play, guys. We're talking about a guy who, through individual skill, cements himself at the top of the European, or not even European, in the history of world football. He's literally the best player I've ever seen, and no one will ever beat him, and today he reminds us exactly of that. This was vintage Messi at his very best. He grabbed the ball, just kind of dribbled through different players of the Napoli defense through the right-hand flank. He kind of lost the ball, and then he fought back to get it. This is a new kind of sort of Messi that we're seeing, you know, like a gladiator, like a fighter, a warrior. He wins the ball back, and then he kind of curls his body exactly just how he needs to, you know, and then he shoots slightly. It wasn't a shot with a lot of power behind it. It was just kind of like a very accurate touch, and it was perfect because it curled past David Ospina and bang into the back of the net. It was impressive, guys. I was talking with my friends on WhatsApp here on the phone, you know, and as soon as that happened, it was ting, 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 you know, GOAT, Messi, the best player of the world. We're like just freaking out because literally, if you haven't seen the goal, you have to go and see it now. It's one of the best goals I've seen so far this year. It really, really was that amazing. And after that, guys, Barcelona just went to a different gear. It was such a huge moment for us because our team continued to kind of push, and it was just a huge motivation. I really liked that from the team. You know, we scored the goal and then we wanted more. That's exactly what I was kind of shouting for. It seems that before we Valverde and Quique Setien in his early days, we scored a goal and then we were like, you know what, that's fine, let's relax, just chill, let's kind of, you know, not be as intense. But that didn't happen in the Champions League today. We went all in, we went all out, we get the ball, we want to keep fighting, and that's exactly the sort of attitude that you need. And soon after, you saw the shot from Suarez, bang, amazing save from David Ospina. Then it falls to Frenkie De Jong, I believe, and then Frenkie De Jong with a, oh my god, what a ball, like literally, it was an orgasmic pass onto Lionel Messi, and then Messi just it in, and then just bang, into the back of the net. Again, once again, the GOAT showing why he's the very best. And I don't understand why they kind of ruled this one out. People were saying it was a handball, the VAR kind of checked it. In my opinion, I could understand why they gave it as a handball because there's one shot where, I don't know what I'm going to use. I'm going to use my hoodie here, my whatever. It kind of bounced on his arm, right, in his chest, sorry, and then it bounced on his arm. And it was very slight, but at the end of the day, how are you gonna able to chest a ball down if you never do this movement? You know, if you never open your arms and kind of chest it, you're never gonna get the ball down. You literally need to do that to kind of weigh the ball on it, so it kind of falls smoothly. And that's what Messi did. And well, it was a handball, but we saw that amazing performance from it. But it actually changed the tides of the game a little bit because after that, Barcelona relaxed a bit. And it was kind of, I was getting a little bit worried because Napoli were playing better at that time. But then we saw, again, that intensity from Lionel Messi trying to win the ball back into the own area of Napoli, and a huge penalty. Koulibaly didn't see Messi at all. Like, I don't blame Koulibaly. It was a horrible kick, but he didn't see Messi at all. Like, he didn't see Messi at all, and then he just kicked him because he was going to kick the ball. You know, he was going to clear it. And my goodness, poor Messi, he received a massive kick. He couldn't even shoot the penalty. Suarez was the one taking to it. And I was wondering why it took so long to make the decision. Honestly, I actually believe it's just because Messi was lying on the floor. If not, Shaqiri would have taken a lot faster. And after that kick, I was very worried, guys, because you have to be honest and say that if Messi gets injured or he gets a yellow card, our Champions League dream is over. It really is. He's one yellow card away from being suspended, and an injury will just literally ruin it because we rely on this player so much. And well, that was it for the moment. I'm really getting tired, man. And then we went to the other side and we saw a foul from Rakitic, and that's where I'm kind of like, it was such a silly penalty to commit by Rakitic. It really was, because he didn't got anything on the ball and we were giving the opportunity for Napoli to get back into it. And that's exactly what happened for the second half. After Insigne scored that goal, Napoli went all out. It was like Gattuso went to the dressing room and he just shouted and shouted and shouted. I actually believe that's what happened, because you look at the man and you know he's gonna have a pretty hard voice on you, especially if you're losing. And well, Napoli went out, and it's kind of like they were all said, you know what, we need to go for it, we need to get into this game. And Barcelona didn't look to read that, and I was a little bit worried about that. But later on, I got a little more confident. We saw that Messi also didn't got substituted off. This actually means that he probably could. His kick wasn't that bad. He probably got revised by some medic here or there, so it doesn't worry me at all now. But I was kind of like, should we be thinking about taking a little more care of Messi, especially for that yellow card? And ultimately, I'm actually happy that it didn't happen, because our team was suffering after that. And that's exactly what we did in this game. We learned how to suffer. Defensively, we were okay, we were clearing. Ter Stegen was also there. There wasn't any big mistake like Varane yesterday. We knew how to suffer. And that's something honestly very good, because in football, and especially a team that is not playing to their best, like Barcelona is, let's be honest, we did good in the first half, but we're far from the best team in Europe right now. We need to learn how to suffer. You need to learn how to take hits. You need to learn how to be a little bit humble and realize that you're not gonna be on top always. And that is what Barcelona did today. That's why I'm happy. Everything that I've been kind of leading up from this video is that. Why Quique Setien didn't make the substitutions was because this team needed to learn how to suffer. We were getting constantly passes penetrated through. Barcelona were attacking on the counter. We shifted into a 4-4-2 once Griezmann went out and Monchu came in for his debut. We did all of those things. But Barcelona were in the game still. We didn't concede. We almost conceded from a goal from Arcade of Milik, but he was offside. But that's kind of what I mean. We needed to learn how to suffer, how to take those hits. And that's a good improvement for Barcelona, because most of the time, we just do not care about that. We kind of go like, okay, we're winning, that's fine. But today, we're like, you know what? We are winning, and we must defend like we are winning. So they went back, they sit tight, and they actually defended, and I liked that. It was a good kind of different style that Barcelona hadn't tried. We always are on the front foot, and today, for the second half, we weren't. We learned that. We knew that we needed to take this approach to be able to beat bigger opposition. And against Bayern Munich, you need to know how to do that, because there are going to be moments where they're simply going to be better than you. And you have to learn how to defend. You have to learn how to freaking suffer. And that's what Barca, like, once again, we did that today, and I'm happy and I'm proud for the team to be able to do it. And just before closing, I have to say two things: that I'm worried about the fatigue of the players. Will they arrive on time? Hopefully they do that. And also that Quique Setien and the team, at least they look a little bit more united. Like, they were talking more, they were kind of interacting. That is good to see. I don't know why I'm so surprised, but that is what a team should be. And Barcelona finally look like they've reached a good understanding, at least, between the players and the manager and the board. So let's hope that for now we can forget about that and just keep focusing on the next game against Bayern Munich, which is certainly going to be a huge match. So yeah, that's gonna be everything for today, guys. Hopefully you have enjoyed this video. Be sure to let me know in the comment box down below what did you think of this game. If you learned anything new and something you haven't seen before from this match, just subscribe, basically. Just subscribe, and I'm gonna be seeing you in the next one for the preview against Bayern Munich. See you in the next one. Take care. Ciao.